Okay, so we have discussed so far about the one-to-many relationship, correct? We discussed a relationship where one head office, under one head office, right? There were like multiple outlets: outlet 1, outlet 2, outlet 3, outlet 4, and many. So one head office had many outlets. Yes, so this is basically one to many, or if you see in the other hand, it's many to one. So it's one to many relationship. One head office will have many outlets data. We also have seen one outlet, right? One outlet had so many revenues data. So this month, revenue 1, second month, revenue 2, third month, revenue 3, fourth month, revenue 4, like that. One outlet object was having so many revenue data. So it's again one to many relationship. Okay, pretty clear. And to establish this relationship, what we had in Salesforce is basically the lookup and the master detail. And then we have learned about something called hierarchical relationship, where in the hierarchical relationship, what we have learned is, let's say one particular child, okay, would be another a parent, a child of a parent, and the parent would be a child of a school, and the school would be the child of a, let's say, master school. Correct? So by the way, the child, the parent, the school, the master schools, all these are what? Account itself, right? And you are just connecting all these account data with what? With just a lookup. Or we don't call this as a lookup, by the way. This is basically called hierarchy relationship. Okay, so this is how we create a hierarchy relationship, and it just help us to use the same object to onboard the different category of data. Okay, and we can also see this child is reporting to this parent, this parent is reporting to this parent, this parent is reporting to this parent. Correct? So all these can be captured here, and Salesforce gives us this view account hierarchy button through which we can easily check that out. I'm really sorry for this bad handwriting. Please bear with me. Okay, now the fourth type of relationship we are going to learn is called many to many relationship. What do you mean by this many to many relationship? Many to many relationship is basically when many object A, suppose there's an object A and there's another object called B, right? Sounds like okay, many A type of object will be tagged to many B type of object. Again, many B type of object will tag to many A type of object. Okay, let me just explain this in more detail. Okay, to understand this many to many relationship, let's just go through with an example. The example is this. I have an object. That object name is what? Student. Okay. I have another object called teacher. Okay. Now, student data is actually there in the student object. Teacher data is there in the teacher object. All right. Now, let me just write down few student name. My first student is, let's say, Rajesh. Okay. And second student is, suppose, Rishik. So, and first teacher name is, let's say, Alex. Second teacher is John. Okay, now understand this example very nicely. Okay, I'm gonna draw another object here. This object name is class. Okay, the problem statement is this. See, Rajesh can take lesson from John. Possible. Rajesh can take lesson from Alex. This is also possible. Rajesh, who is the same student, can learn from John from Alex. Maybe John is teaching Rajesh the mathematics, Alex is teaching Rajesh the physics. So same Rajesh, the same student, can take lesson from multiple teachers. In the other hand, Alex as a as a teacher, right? Alex as a teacher can teach Rishik also. Yes, Alex as a teacher can teach Rajesh as well. You understand what I'm saying? Same Rajesh who was taking lesson from multiple teachers, same teacher named Alex is giving lesson to multiple students. Now, what if I want to have an object which will tell me clearly, okay, uh, who is taking lesson from whom or who is teaching whom. Now here, if you see, this is a many-to-many relationship. Many students can be tagged to one single teacher, or multiple teachers can be tagged to one single student. Possible? This is basically a many-to-many relationship. Now in Salesforce, we have only these two types of relationship, master detail and lookup. There is no specific relationship available for this many-to-many relationship. For that, what we do is basically we create something called Junction Object. By the way, this class, the third object class, name is Junction Object. What is this Junction Object? Junction Object is again a custom object. Okay, Junction Object is again a custom object which has a lookup or a master with this parent, and again another lookup or master with this parent. Class should be the child of student, class should be the child of teacher. This is a bit difficult to understand. Okay, let me just deep dive into this and let me tell you why I'm creating this Junction Object. Okay, I'll just clear this image. See, I want to capture, I as a business, suppose this is my school management system, and I want to capture which particular teacher is giving lesson to which student, or which student is taking lesson from which teacher. Okay, so now check this out. I had teacher named Alex. He is giving lesson to Rajesh. I have a teacher named same Alex, is giving lesson to another student called Rishik. I have a student named Rajesh, okay, who is taking lesson from Alex. I have the same student named Rajesh who is taking lesson from another teacher called John. Now, how do you map this? How do you map this particular thing inside the Salesforce system? This is where your class object come into the picture. You can give any name that you want. So class, this particular object is the Junction Object. So when I say Junction Object, this object will have a lookup relationship between the, this is basically a child object, okay? And the parent is the teacher object. This is again a child object, and parent object is the student. Now, whenever you create this kind of object named class, and this object has only two relationship field, one is with teacher, one is with student. Now, whenever you create a data, please understand this line, okay? Whenever you create a data in the class object, okay, so you're creating a class called first section A. That's the class name, and you're creating the data, okay? And while creating a data, you're creating you're selecting Alex is the teacher, Rajesh is the student. Again, you're creating another class called same class 1 section A, and while creating that data in the class object, you're selecting Alex as the parent, Alex as the teacher, and Rishik is the student. correct? So this is where you're actually doing a many-to-many relationship. I hope this 50% of the theory is clear. What I'm going to do is we are going to implement the same thing inside Salesforce, just to make sure another 50% is also clear with you. All right, so let's go into Salesforce and try to implement the same thing. So I had quickly created this three objects: teacher, student, and classes. Okay. And I also have created the school app. Inside the school, I have added all these three objects. Okay. And if you go to teachers, I have created the same two teacher named John and Alex. And if you go to student, there are two students named Rajesh and Rishik. Once my teacher data and student data is onboarded, I want to have another set of data which tells me, okay, these are the teacher teaching these students. How do I do it? I do the same thing with classes. Class is nothing but the junction object, which is the child of teacher and student. Okay, I'll just quickly show you the schema builder, and I'll show you what is the status of these three objects in the schema builder. So let us go to the setup, schema builder, and where is the schema builder? This is the one. Clear all, teachers, then student, then class. Checks out. So I have these three objects. Okay, and class, if you see, it's just the junction object. This is basically called junction object. Okay, class is the child of teacher, class is again a child of student. Okay, and both these two are objects are related with class with a lookup relationship. Fine. Now if I create a new class, let me just go ahead and create a new class here. I'll just go back to the same school app, and I'm just gonna create a new class. Once you see the data, it will be like more clear to you. So if I create a new class, say class name is like class 1 section 1. Okay, teacher is John, and John is teaching Rishik. Save, create another data because John is teaching one more student, right? So class name, what is the class name? Class 1 section 1. And same teacher named John is teaching whom this time? Rajesh. Save. Now if you see the class, okay, now if I open these two records in a different tab, these two records says, okay, the teacher named Alex is teaching multiple students. One is teacher named John is teaching Rajesh, and same teacher named John is teaching Rishik. I'll create two more records, okay, just to make it more clear. Same class 2, let's say class 2 section 1. Okay, who's the teacher? Teacher is John. Okay, and student is Rishik. Okay, Rishik is the student, is taking the lesson from John, and again Rishik is the same student, is taking the lesson from Rajesh, Alex. Okay, and the class name is class 2 section 1. This is basically an example of junction object and many-to-many. This class object now hold 4 data. Okay, this class object now hold 4 data, and these 4 data tells you that the teachers and the students are into many-to-many relationship. So if you look into the data of the classes object, it gives you clear picture. Okay, Alex is a teacher who is teaching Rishik, and John is a teacher who is teaching Rishik. So Rishik is taking lesson from 2 different teachers. In the other hand, John is a teacher who is teaching Rajesh, and John is a teacher is teaching Rishik. So same teacher is teaching multiple students. Got it? So this is how many-to-many relationship has been established inside Salesforce, and that's the way we don't have a specific like lookup or master. We don't have a specific relationship type available for this many-to-many. The way we establish this many-to-many relationship is through the junction object. So we create a junction object which is going to be the child object, and then we create the junction object data to make the many-to-many mapping between the both these parents. So far we have discussed about lookup, master, hierarchy, and many-to-many. I hope these four concepts are very much clear, because this is just a concept. See, creating these fields, it just takes 2 minutes, but important is to understand the concept, because you as an admin or as a BA would be using this concept only for different situations. So if you are clear about the concept, that will be really helpful for me to survive in the project. Or as I told you, from the relationship chapter, you're gonna get at least a couple of questions in the certification. I mean, if you are applying for the admin certifications. Okay, so these are the points. I'm going to talk about few more points about this master detail, and then we'll wrap up the relationship chapter and we'll jump into the security chapter. So few limitations that comes with master detail is one object can have maximum 2 master detail relationship field. What do you mean by this? Let's say this outlet object, right? We have already made outlet object as the child of of the head office, correct? And we can make maximum we can make outlet object child of maximum one more parent with master data relationship. That's it. This is the limitation, which means that let's say outlet is the object, right? So here let's say outlet, this is the child object. It is already a parent with let's say this head office, right? So this outlet, right, this could be another child of another object called, let's say, a regional office master detail. That's it. So this outlet object can be the child of maximum 2 master detail parent. All right, now let's say you have another third object and you're going to create this third object, and you're going to make the outlet as the child of this third object. You cannot do it. That's the limitation. So one particular object can be maximum can have maximum 2 master data relationship field. And when it comes to lookup, you can have, I think the count is right now 25, but again this count varies, right? So Salesforce comes up with like different releases every year, right? Couple of releases that Salesforce comes up with, and every release they add up something. So please check whether for lookup it is still 25 or it has been increased. Okay, so for master detail, it is 2 master detail that you can create. I mean, a particular object can be the child of maximum 2 master detail relationship. And when it comes to lookup, it is 25 or 45. Please check it out. Okay, I don't know when you are seeing this video what is the exact number right now, so please check this in Google. And okay, one more thing here, when you search this kind of a number related data from Google, right, please make sure that you validate your answer from help.salesforce.com. See, you see a lot of when I say help.salesforce.com, this is the URL, right? So when you search something in Google, you will find the result from like developer.salesforce.com, where a lot of people like you and me who go and type in their comments on top of the questions. But Salesforce provide their own documentation in help.salesforce.com, this URL. So whatever you find over there in help.salesforce.com is basically the updated data. That's what I find. So make sure you find all these kind of number specific data in the help.salesforce.com, because let's say somebody has commented in 2010, like 11 years back somewhere, and said that 25 lookup maximum you can create, but now in 2021 maybe they have changed it, or in 2022 they have changed it, correct? So you should have the updated data from the help.salesforce.com. This is one thing. Okay, so this point is clear that one child would be a maximum detail of 2 parent object in a master relationship. Let's say account is an object. I want to make account as the child of, suppose, head office. Head office is a custom object, and I want to create a relationship between head office and account, where account should be the child and head office should be the parent. Correct? Account should be the child and head office should be the parent. Right? So this is the parent and this is the child. Now you cannot make this, right? A standard object can never be a detail. Okay? Can never be a detail object. Detail means child. Okay? So the standard object, it has to be always parent. It cannot be a detail side. I mean, if you want me to show you this, let me just quickly open the Salesforce setup and try to make account the child of head office. How do I do it? I'll go back to setup and object manager and account. When you go to account, let's try to create a master relationship between account and head office, where account should be the child. Because account should be the child, I am there in the account object to create the relationship field. Okay, go to the fields, click on new button. Check this out. Do you see any data type called master detail relationship available here? Lookup is there, but there's no master detail. What do you mean by this? This means a parent, a standard object can never ever be in the detail side of master detail. You can create lookup because lookup doesn't have any dependence, right? But master detail, you must have a custom object in the detail side, no standard object. Okay, this is the second point. Next thing that we're going to discuss is a roll-up summary field. So outlet and head office, they are into master detail relationship. And one head office, I have created a head office called India head office. So this particular head office has 3 outlets. Okay, and each outlet might have few revenue data. So I want to do this. Okay, I want to create a field in head office which will calculate how many number of outlet that we have automatically, and it will populate. In order to do that, we are going to create a roll-up summary field in the head office object. There's a data type called roll-up summary, and that is available only when you create a master data relationship. So the roll-up summary field will be available in the parent object in a master detail relationship. Okay, so let me just go to setup quickly and same object manager and go to head office. Okay, and go to fields. Let's try to create a roll-up summary field. See, when you go to new field, because head office is the parent of outlet object in a master data relationship, that's why you have this data type available. If head office is not the parent of any master data relationship, then this particular data type would be grayed out. You cannot use it. Okay, so try to read this, what they have written. It's a read-only field that display the sum minimum maximum value of a field in the related list. Let's click on this roll-up summary. Click on next. As per my requirement, I want to create the total number of outlets. Okay, if you click on next, it will ask you want to summarize which object. Suppose head office is the parent of 2 different object. One is outlet, another is some other object. So it is asking you want to summarize from which object, outlet or the second object. I'm selecting outlet because I think outlet is the only child of head office in a master detail. These things that I'm discussing right now is only possible when you have a master detail relationship. Okay, and in outlet object, either you can calculate the total number of outlet that we have or sum. Let's say you have in outlet, there's a field called I should have a field called last month revenue. In outlet, suppose there's a field called last month revenue, and you want to calculate the total last month revenue from all the outlets in the head office. So suppose there are 3 outlets under one head office, correct? So if I go to the head office, I anyway have 3 different outlets. Each outlet suppose has like $100 as the last month revenue. So in the head office, if I want to create a field called total last month revenue, it would be showing 300. If I want to do that, then I have to select this sum and select this field called last month revenue, which I don't have created so far. Got it? So same thing we can do for like min, max, sum. So these are the operation that we can perform in the roll-up summary. I'm just quickly creating the count because I want to calculate how many outlet that I have under one head office. So selected the count and click on next, next, and next. I'm done. I'll just quickly go to my head office data, refresh, and here we go. There's a field created called total number of outlet, and this is 3. Why? Because I have total 3 outlets. What if I delete one outlet? Let me just go ahead and delete the first outlet. Deleted. Now ideally the number should be 2. If I go back and see, it is still 3 because I haven't refreshed it. So if I refresh, the total number of outlet is now 2. And this field is read only. You as an user cannot change it. This will be automatically calculated because that's a roll-up summary field. So roll-up summary is a data type which will be available in the parent object of a master data relationship. And you can either calculate count, min, max, or sum of the child object. Okay, so that's all about roll-up summary field.